I left my son's wedding before the first toast. I didn't cry. I didn't make a scene. No one stopped me because no one knew what I had just heard. The music was playing, a string quartet, soft, elegant, expensive, the kind of music that makes people believe everything around them is perfect. It was. I was standing behind the floral arch, the large one at the entrance of the terrace. White flowers, ivy, carefully arranged beauty. I hadn't gone there for anything important, just to check my phone. A message about my cat, something small, ordinary. And then I heard her, Elise, my daughter-in-law, standing just a few feet away, on the other side of the flowers. She didn't know I was there. Her voice was low, relaxed, the voice people use when they believe they are safe. After today, she said, I don't have to pretend anymore. I didn't move. Her friend laughed, a quiet, knowing laugh. 5 years, Elise continued. 5 years of managing her. A pause, smiling, visiting, acting like she matters. My hands didn't shake. That's something people always imagine, that in moments like this, your body reacts. Mine didn't, because I had spent 51 years working with things so small that even your pulse can ruin them. You learn stillness, perfect stillness. She'll figure it out eventually, Elise said. They always do. Always. And by then, we'll be in Vancouver. Vancouver. That was the first time I heard about Vancouver. I stood there, very quietly, and something inside me did not break. It aligned, because suddenly, everything made sense. 4 years. 4 years of polite smiles, careful conversations, measured warmth. I thought she was adjusting, learning, finding her place. She was managing me. And the most important detail was not what she said. It was this: 5 years. 5. She had decided who I was before she even met me. And everything after that was just execution. I stayed behind that arch for exactly 4 minutes. I know it was 4 minutes because I don't experience time the way most people do. I measure it. I've been a watchmaker for 51 years. Time is not abstract to me. It's mechanical, precise, predictable. 4 minutes, long enough to understand, not long enough to react, because reacting would have been a mistake. I am Marguerite. I am 67 years old. I have lived in the same house for 42 years. I built my life with my hands, tiny mechanisms, gears, springs, balance wheels, things that require patience, things that punish force. That is important, because what happened next required the same principle. I walked out from behind the arch. The music was still playing. People were smiling. Glasses were clinking. A perfect wedding. I saw my son, Francois, standing among guests, laughing, unaware. And for a moment, I looked at him the way I used to when he was a child, and I understood something very clearly. This moment was not about me. That mattered. I had something in my bag, a small box, white, carefully wrapped. Inside it was a watch, not just any watch, a 1923 mechanical pocket watch. It had belonged to my father and his father before him, 4 generations. I had spent 8 months restoring it, every component, every detail, bringing it back to life so I could give it to my son on the day he got married. I walked to the gift table. There were dozens of presents, boxes, envelopes, decorations. I placed mine in the center, precisely, not for attention, but because placing things carefully is what I do when something important is happening. I stood there for a second, and I thought I could stay, smile, pretend, or I could leave, not dramatically, not loudly, just leave. I picked up my coat. No one stopped me. No one noticed. The music continued. The wedding continued. And I walked out because the right response is not always immediate. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is wait. I didn't sleep much that night, not because I was upset, but because my mind refused to stop working. When you spend 50 years fixing delicate mechanisms, your brain doesn't panic when something breaks. It analyzes, and something had broken, not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, precisely, like a tiny crack in a jewel that eventually stops the entire movement. Sunday passed like any other day. I went to the market. I bought bread I didn't need. I walked the same streets I had walked for 40 years. And all the while, the same sentence kept repeating in my head. After today, I don't have to pretend anymore. I didn't cry, not once, because what I felt wasn't pain. It was clarity, and clarity is colder than pain. Francois called that evening, not from the wedding, from outside. I could hear the city behind him. Voices, laughter, life continuing as if nothing had changed. But something had. Mom, he said it the way he used to when he was a child and didn't know how to start a difficult sentence. You left. Yes, you left the gift. I know. I opened it. A pause. It's grandfather's watch. I closed my eyes. For a moment, I saw my father, standing in the same kitchen, winding the same watch. It's yours now, I said. Silence. Then the question I knew was coming. Why did you leave? I could have told him everything. Right there, on that call, in the middle of his wedding night. I could have shattered it instantly. But some truths require the right room, the right moment, the right temperature. Come Tuesday, I said. Dinner, just you and me. Another pause. Is it about Elise? Careful, very careful. Yes, he exhaled. I thought so. That sentence told me something important. He already felt it. Not the truth, but the imbalance. I'll come Tuesday, he said. Good. The watch is running perfectly. Yes, within a second a day. Yes, another silence. But this one was different. He was holding it, understanding it, feeling the weight. I'll see you Tuesday, Mom. I'll be here. When the call ended, I didn't move for a long time, because now it was no longer just my knowledge. It was his. Tuesday arrived exactly the way all important days do. Quietly, without ceremony, he came at 6:30, still in his work clothes, boots slightly dirty, jacket heavy, and in his pocket, the watch. I didn't mention it. I went to the kitchen, finished cooking. We talked about ordinary things. His work, the city, small, safe subjects. Because this is something people don't understand. Before you say something that can change a life, you must first remind the other person that life still exists. At 7:00, we sat down. Wine, food, silence. He looked at me. Tell me. So I did. No drama, no exaggeration, no interpretation. Just facts. Where I stood, what I heard, the exact words. Vancouver. The sentence. After today, I don't have to pretend anymore. He didn't interrupt. Not once. When I finished, he didn't speak immediately. He stared at the table, then at the watch in his hand, then back at me. Vancouver. No. What do you mean, no? She never told you. That was the moment. The real one. Not the wedding. Not the conversation behind the arch. This, because this is when reality begins to shift. He leaned back slowly. She's been managing you. Yes, for 5 years. That's what she said. He nodded, slowly, not in denial, not in anger, in recognition. I need to ask you something, he said. I waited. Are you telling me this because you want me to do something? A pause, or because I need to know? I almost smiled, because that was the right question, the only question that mattered. You need to know, I said. What you do with it is yours. Silence again. He took out the watch, opened it, looked at it as if it might give him an answer. 4 generations, he said. Yes, you spent 8 months restoring this. Yes, and you left it on the table. Yes. Why? I looked at him carefully, because the watch was always yours. He frowned slightly. What I heard didn't change that. Another pause, but it changed something else. What? I couldn't stay. Silence filled the room again. But this time, it was heavier. He closed the watch, held it tightly. I need to talk to her, he said. Yes, about everything. Yes. He looked at me, long, careful, asking myself one question. I didn't ask what question. I already knew, but he said it anyway. Is this marriage what I thought it was? And that was the moment everything truly began. He called me on Sunday, exactly 5 days after our dinner. I remember the time because I always remember time. I was in the workshop, a movement disassembled in front of me, tiny gears, still waiting. The phone rang. I didn't rush. I finished placing the tool down, then answered. Mom. His voice was different, not broken, not angry, changed. I spoke to Elise. I didn't interrupt. He exhaled slowly. She didn't deny it. Of course she didn't. A person who manages things well doesn't waste time denying what is already exposed. She said she was afraid of you. That almost made me smile. Not because it was funny, but because it was human. Afraid, I asked. She said you were too much. A pause, that there wasn't space for her. I leaned back in my chair. That's not fear, I said quietly. That's a decision. Silence on the line. She admitted it started before she met you. Yes, I said. I understood that. She said, managing you felt easier than trying to understand you. There it was, the real truth, not cruelty, not hatred, convenience. And convenience is far more dangerous than anger. Mom, he said, I don't know what to do. For the first time in this entire situation, there it was, uncertainty. So I answered carefully, not as a mother who wants control, but as a person who understands consequences. You already know what to do, I said. No, he replied. I don't. Yes, I said calmly. You're just hoping the answer will change. Silence. Long. Heavy. She wants to fix it, he said finally. Does she understand what it is? I asked. Another pause. I think she's starting to. Good. Then let her try, I said. And if it doesn't work, then you will know you didn't ignore the truth. That matters more than people think. He exhaled. She wants to call you. I know. You'll answer. Yes. A small pause. Then quietly. Thank you. The call ended. I looked back at the movement on my table. Still open. Still incomplete. Like everything else. She called on Wednesday, 11:00 in the morning. Precise. Prepared. Marguerite. Yes. A pause. I won't apologize yet, she said. That surprised me. Good, I replied. Don't. Silence. Then, because I don't want to use an apology to control the conversation. Better tell me what you heard, she said. So I did. Every word. Exactly. When I finished, there was a long silence. Then she said, I said those things. Yes, they're true. Yes. Another pause. Longer this time. I decided who you were before I knew you. Yes. And then I spent 5 years proving myself right. There it was, the real mistake, not manipulation. Certainty. I thought you were the problem, she said. And now, I asked. I think I never actually looked at you. Good. That was the first honest sentence. I don't think you're a cruel person, I said. She didn't respond immediately. No, she said softly. I'm not. You made a wrong decision, I continued, and you executed it very well. She let out a breath, half laugh, half something else. That sounds exactly like something I would do. Yes, I said. Silence again, but this time, not uncomfortable. Real. I want to start over, she said. I didn't answer immediately, because starting over is a beautiful idea, but it's not real. You can't start over, I said. A small pause. I know, but you can start honestly. Another silence. That's harder, she whispered. Yes, that's why most people don't do it. There was one more thing. I needed to understand. Vancouver, I said. She froze. I could hear it in her breathing. It was my plan, she admitted. He didn't know. I thought so. I thought distance would solve everything. No, I said quietly. Distance hides things. Silence. I understand that now, she said. Good, because understanding that changes everything. Why did you leave the watch? She asked suddenly. I looked at the table, at my hands, because it was never about you. Silence. The watch belongs to Francois, I said. What happened between us doesn't change that. She breathed in slowly. And leaving, she asked. That was about me. Another pause. I couldn't stay and pretend I hadn't heard you. Silence. I don't want to pretend anymore either, she said. Good. Then don't. She hesitated, then asked, Will you come to dinner? I thought for a moment. Not about her, about him. Yes, I said. Saturday evening. Their apartment. Warm light. Table set carefully. She had cooked, and I could see immediately. This was not performance. This was effort. Real effort looks different. We sat. We ate. We talked. Not about the incident. Not directly. About everything that should have been spoken about years ago. Who she was. Who I was. Who he was between us. And slowly, very slowly, something began to shift. Not fixed, but real. At one point, she picked up the small notebook I brought. The movement will tell you what it needs, she read. She looked at me. That applies to people too, doesn't it? Yes. Silence. I never listened, she said. I know. Francois sat between us. Quiet, watching, not choosing sides. But finally, seeing clearly, when I left that night, she stood at the door. What does the watch sound like? She asked. I smiled slightly. Come to my workshop, I said. I'll show you. I walked home alone, through the same streets, the same city, but something was different. Not better, not worse, clearer. I am 67 years old. I left my son's wedding before the toast, not because I was weak, but because I understood something most people don't. Not every truth needs to explode. Some truths need to be handled carefully, like a mechanism, like time, like people. And if you listen before you decide, you can still fix what matters.